Good morning students, a very hearty welcome to GC Tech Hub CS tutorials. In today's class we are going to start with a new chapter, that is chapter 3, data representations. In this chapter we will mainly learn about the way in which computers deal with various types of data, whether it is text, alphabets, special symbols, numbers and all. And we will also study about certain number systems, some conversions between number systems, and also some types of encoding systems. So we will today start with a general introduction towards what is number system, how are different quantities represented in digital systems, and some basic conversions. So let us move on to today's class. So we are going to start with data representation today. Need for number systems. Why we need number systems? In science, technology, business and most other fields, we deal with different types of quantities, whether text, numbers. Text can be alphabets, both uppercase, lowercase. We can have special symbols there. We can have non-printable characters. And in numbers, we mostly have integers. We have real numbers, that is numbers with a fractional part. Numbers could be negative, numbers could be positive, they could be zero. So various different types of quantities are used in various different fields. Usually when we are working with numbers or any quantities, we use the decimal system. That is the system of 10 values. So why do we use the system of 10 values? Because it is a commonplace, it's a common thing to just identify that we have our 10 fingers on combining both the hands. So usually it is very easy to keep track of things when we are counting with our fingers, and because we have 10 digits, our fingers are also known as digits. So because we have 10 digits on both our hands, that combined, that is why counting everything with respect to 10, that has become a complete standard, and it is known as the decimal number system. So quantities are measured, monitored, recorded, manipulated arithmetically, observed, or in some other way utilized in most physical systems. And in digital systems like computers, quantities are represented by symbols called digits. Many number systems are used in digital technology that represent digits in various forms. So what are digital number systems? We basically have four systems, four number systems: decimal, binary, octal and hexadecimal. Let us see each one of them in detail. So when we talk about the first system, that is the decimal number system, how do you think this number system came into existence? That is because of humans having 10 digits, that is 5 plus 5 fingers, 5 fingers on each hand. So the very first way in which man started counting something was with the help of his hands. Okay, and because we have 5 plus 5 fingers, that is total 10 digits we have. Sometimes in scientific terms, fingers are also termed as digits, whether it is the toes of your feet or your hand, the fingers of your hand, they are termed as digits. So from there only we started using digits for numbers. So decimal number system consists of 10 digits, usually it is 0 to 9. So the base of decimal number systems is 10, and if you just write 10 raised to the power 1 minus 1, which will give us 10 minus 1, that is 9. So 0 to 9 digits are there. Okay, so we use 9 digits, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Any number in the decimal number system is a combination of these 10 digits. So here we can see that if I create a number here like 932, so this 932 is a decimal number, or we can say it is a base 10 number with a base 10. So how can, and basically in the decimal number system we make use of place values. Every number has its significance through place values. How? So here we will have 9 times 9 hundreds plus 3 tens plus 2 units. That is, it would be 9 into 100 plus 3 into 10 plus 2 into 1, which can be further represented by powers of 10. So this way we get, if we expand the number, we would get back the original decimal number. Okay, so this is known as place value. So you can say that the number which is towards the extreme left side, that holds the maximum weight. That is why it is also known as MSD, that is most significant digit. And the number which is towards the units place, that holds the least weight, so it is known as least significant digit, or in short known as LSD. So these are place values. Okay, so every decimal number is represented by its place value, number of hundreds, number of tens, and number of units. And it's suppose we have a number like this, that is, so how do you think this number is going to be represented? It would be represented like this, 9 raised to the power. So all we will first figure out the place values. 932.123. So 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. So this will be 9 into 10 square plus 3 into 10 raised to the power 1 plus 2 into 10 raised to the power 0 plus 10 into, 1 into 1 into 10 raised to the power minus 1 plus 2 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 plus 3 into 10 raised to the power minus 3. If we solve this whole expression, then we would get this value, this whole number over here. So you can see that before the decimal point, the place values, the weight, individual weights for each of the digits starts from 0, and after the decimal point the weight starts from minus 1 onwards. Okay, so this is how digital numbers, decimal numbers are represented. Now, because decimal numbers are not very suitable with computers or digital systems, because to represent 10 different digits, as any number or any value would be, any quantity would be a representation of 10 digits. So it would be very difficult to represent 10 digits using 10 different voltage levels. So we shifted towards binary number system, which is a bit convenient. Why? Because it uses only two digits, that is 0 and 1. So here there are only two voltage levels which are used to represent 0 and 1. For 1, normally a voltage level of plus 5 volts or plus 3.3 volts is used, and for 0 it is 0 volts. So you can see that only two voltage levels are used for representing each of the digits of the binary number system. So binary number system, that is why, is very convenient for all digital systems. So our computer also works on the basis of binary number system only. Any data, whether it is numeric data or it is textual data, it is converted into binary values, and those binary values actually together help in setting up the machine level language. They are what comprise of the machine level language, a language which the hardware understands. So there is a conversion between this machine language and our language, that is a high level language. So we are able to represent all the quantities in binary number system. So because any number will be a combination of only zeros and ones, so the numbers would be represented this way. Like if I have, I start from 0, so usually it is 0, then I have 1 which is 1, I have 2 which is 1 0, 3 is represented as 1 1, 4 is represented as 1 0 0, and so on, which we will be seeing in a short while, as you can see. So now if any number has to be converted into binary, we will be learning about the conversion in a short while. So any number, any binary number, if I take, like for example 101.10. So I have taken 10.1010, or let me take an easier number for that matter, 1010.101, which is a binary number. So if I just, here also we'll be working with place values. So 0, 1, 2, 3, these are the individual weights assigned to each of the digits. And then this number can be converted to decimal number by using this representation. As in the decimal number system, if you remember, we had used the weights, we had raised weights to the power of 10. So here, because that was because we were working with the decimal number system, and decimal number systems use base 10. So here, because it's binary number system whose base is 2, so we will raise these weights to the power of 2, and this way we will represent the numbers. And we will expand it. So just solving these values will give us the data. So we get the answer as 10.625, which is the decimal representation of this binary number. So we can say in short that this number 1010.101, which is a binary number, when it is converted into decimal number, it becomes this, that is 10.625. So this way, just I can convert any binary number into its decimal counterpart. Also, if I just represent, I am going to represent binary numbers, binary representations of counting numbers from 0 to 15. So how will they be represented? Let's see. So we will start with 0, then it is 1. Now when it is 0 and 1 only, so only one bit is required. But when we come to 2, it becomes 1 0. 3 becomes 1 1. That is, you can see the combinations here. So we will just add zeros in the leading zeros in front of these numbers, the previous two numbers, to just make it look even. Okay, that is all numbers with equal number of bits. So this, you can see a combination which we used to get in truth tables if we had only two inputs or two variables. So the units place is changing by a factor of 1. It is jumping by, it is alternating by every one step, and the tens place is alternating by 2 steps. 4 is 100. So we can just increase the number of bits over here by adding leading zeros. 5 is 101. 6 is 110. 7 is 111. And 8 becomes 1000. So again we add leading zeros over here. Then 9, 1001. 10 is 1010, and 11 is 1011. I'll just confirm it once. Yes. 12 is 1100. 13 is 1101. 14 is 1110, and 15 is 1111. So here you can see the weights 0, 1, 2, 3. So when it is the 0th weight, you can see that 2 raised to the power 0, that is 1. The jump factor is only 1. That is, every one bit, every next bit will be reversed. That is, 0 is reversed to 1, then 1 reversed to 0, then 1, and so on. When it is 2 raised to the power 1, every 2 bit is reversed. After every 2 bit, the bit will be reversed. First 2 bits, then again after 2 bits it is reversed, after 2 bit it is reversed, and so on. Next, 2 raised to the power 2, that is 4. So here after every 4 bits, the bits are reversed. And last of all, 2 raised to the power 3, that is 8. After every 8 bits, the bits are reversed. Okay, so this is how this follows a pattern. It is actually a pattern which is followed by a factor of 2 raised to the power n minus 1, where n minus 1 is the weights or the bit number which is by which these bits are represented. So this is a pattern which is, it works as a wonderful memory aid if you want to remember how to, this will actually help us to get the various combinations of the numbers, the various combination of bits for each of the numbers. So after 15, it will be 16, which will have 5 bits. So again, we can increase there. The numbers would be like, the bits would be changed after every 16 bits. So now, so this is, you can see that every digit is represented, every decimal number has a binary equivalent, right? Here also we have the most significant digit and the least significant digit. In this case, you can see that here 1 is the least significant digit, whereas this one is the most significant digit. Our next number system is the octal number system, which is base 8, which consists of 7 digits, 0 to 7. Any octal number is a combination of these 8 bit these 8 digits. Like 672 can be considered as an octal number. But if I write 692, this will not be an octal number. This will be a decimal number. Or it can be also a hexadecimal number. So here also in octal numbers also, if we have to convert any number into its decimal equivalent, we will follow the same method. For example, I have a number 3.12.123. So here also we would provide, this is an octal number, we would just provide, first we'll assign individual weights to each of the digits, and now we would just multiply them. We'll raise the weights to the power of 8, as any octal number is a combination, it is a combination of 8 digits. So this is the number we are getting, 202.16371, which is the decimal equivalent of this number, that is 312.123. So this is how we will convert any octal number into its decimal equivalent. Next is hexadecimal number system. So hexadecimal number systems are usually consisting of 16 digits, starting from 0 to 9 and A to F, where A is 10, and we have A to F, and each representing one hexadecimal digit. So here we can see that 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 are actually represented as digits. Now, why these alphabets have been used in place of this? The reason is, if I want to represent any hexadecimal number consisting of the digit 10, then the number 1 and the number 0, right? So here 0 is a digit. I understand that it is a digit. 1 is a digit, and I want to consider 10 as a digit, but the computer won't understand that this is a digit. Rather, it will consider each of its constituents as individual digits. So just to differentiate between the number 10 and the digit 10, 10 has been represented by A. So it is easier to represent hexadecimal numbers using these alphabets. If we want to, because hexa means base 16 and 16 digits means any number would be made out of the 16 digits, right? So here A to F represent 0 to 9 and A to F represent all 16 digits of the number. So hexadecimal number system, it is, you can say that if I have any number here like C289.A2. So here C represents the digit 12, 2 represents the digit 2, 8 and 9 are individual digits, A represents digit 10 and 2 represents the digit. Here also we will assign weights. Now the conversion of hexadecimal numbers to decimal is the same. We only need to raise these weights to the power of 16 multiplied by C plus 16 square multiplied by 2 plus. So these are the different, this is if we solve this thing, and we will represent these C and A by the digits over here. So when we solve it, we would get whatever we get, that would be the decimal representation of this number. So those were all the 4 digital number systems. So whenever, now what we are going to do is we are going to do the conversions. So these all are the different types of conversions which we would be doing. We will start with the simplest one, that is decimal to binary, binary to decimal, then we'll move towards decimal to octal conversions, then decimal hexadecimal conversions, and then two very easy and very important conversions, octal to binary to octal, hexadecimal to binary to hexadecimal. So we will start with the very first, that is decimal to binary conversions. We'll start with question number 1. That is convert 43 to the base 10 to binary. So let's do this. So we have our very first question here, 43 to the base 10. It has to be converted into binary. So in the exam you will get questions of this type only. Whenever you just have to understand, you will understand what has to be converted into what by looking at this small subscripted number over here. 10 represents decimal number, 2 represents binary number. So we will be using the repeated division method for doing this, which is the simplest method for converting uh, any number from one number system, from decimal number system to any other number system, whether it is binary, octal or hexadecimal or any other number system. So let us start with this. So we will first write 43 and we would start factorizing 43 by dividing it repeatedly by 2 and collecting the remainders. So we get the quotient as 21 and the remainder as 1. So we will write the remainder over here. Next again we will divide this number. We get the remainder 1 which we will be writing here. Here we get remainder 0, so we will write it as 0. So now we get 1 over here. We have to keep dividing it till we get 1 left. And now we will be connecting all these dots. We would be collecting all these digits starting from bottom to top. That is 1 0 1 0 1 and 1. So this becomes our binary number, the binary equivalent of decimal 43. Let's do another one. 200. Again we will write 200 like this. When you divide any number by 2, you are bound to get the remainder as either 0 or 1. Again we will be collecting all the remainders from here. 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 0. So this becomes the binary equivalent of 200. Next is 85. So you can pause the screen over here and try it out yourself, and be honest to yourself. Only play the video once you have solved this question to check your answer. So now your answer is this. Let's move on to the next question. Convert 0.35 to binary. Now here it is a bit different because we have to convert decimal numbers, that is numbers with fractional parts, to binary. So what about the fractional parts? For fractional parts, for converting fractional parts into their binary equivalents, we use the repeated multiplication method. So we will be multiplying 0.35 by 2 multiple times. And from here we will be collecting the bit which we get over here, the digit which we get before the decimal point. So here it is 0. Now we will again take the fractional part and multiply it by 2. Now again we get the digit here as 1. So we will write 1 here and we will only take the decimal part over here. Only this decimal part shall be carried on here. Again here we have got 0. We get 1 over here. So every time we get these values, we will just keep on multiplying them repeatedly with 2 to get the bits after the decimal point. So when you are multiplying numbers with 2, these decimal parts with 2, there is a possibility you might get 0. So when you get 0.000 and so on, so if the answer is, if you get if there is a point where you get while multiplying these you get 0.0, it means that you need not solve it any further. So again here we can see that it is recurring, so we will just stop over here. So we get we I mean these many bits are sufficient after the decimal point, so we can write the answer as. Now here we will take the bits in a top to bottom fashion, that is point 0 1 0 1 1 0 0 0 1 as the digits after the decimal point. So this is the answer. There was a slight mistake in writing the answer. So this is the answer which we get. So this is how we convert decimal, that is the numbers with a fractional part. So fractional part of a number will always be converted using repeated multiplication, and integral part of a number will always be converted using repeated division, which we will be seeing in the next question. So now the next question is 43.35. So how to do this? So here we are going to write 43. First we will convert 43 into binary using the repeated division method. And we have already got that somewhere. We had already solved 43. So we will just find out the decimal representation, which is the binary representation, which is 101011. So 43 stands for 101011, and talking about its fractional part, that is 0.35, this shall be converted into binary using the repeated multiplication method, which we have just seen before. So we get 0.010111001 over here. So how do we write it? Finally, we will be combining both. So we will be combining the integral part and the fractional part together. That would be 101011, which is the integer part, dot this fractional part, that is 010110001. So this is the final converted number, that is 43.35 converted into its binary equivalent. To understand this example better, I have one more example here. 4.8125. So we'll convert this to binary. So first we will convert the integral part, that is 4 converted into binary. So the binary of 4 is 100 already. So we can simply write 100, and its decimal part, that is 0.8125 into binary. This we need to do now using the repeated multiplication method. We get the digit 1 here. We again get the digit 1. So now we get 1, and in the decimal part I said one thing wrong, that was if I get 0 0.0. No, the answer is if you get 0 in the decimal part, that is a fractional part after the decimal point, that is the stopping point. We don't need to solve any further. Okay, because we have collected 1 and after we take out its decimal part, it is left with 0 0.0, which need not be converted further. So now the fractional part here is 0.8125. When it is converted into binary, it is 0.1101. And when finally I need to write this number, that is 4.8125, so I will combine their integral and fractional parts together, and this gives me the actual value, the value that is the binary equivalent of 4.8125. So this was conversion from decimal to binary. In the next class, we will be seeing conversion of binary to decimal. So students, I hope you have understood today's class. If you haven't understood certain things, please go through the video again, and if you have any doubts, that we would be discussing in the next theory class. So that will be all in today's class. Happy learning. Please keep revising as your exams are drawing near. The more you practice, the more you will be able to clear these concepts.